The photos I'm showing you today are from my visit to Casavant last month in the middle of October. I went up to see progress with our instrument and have some discussions with the Casavant team about some of the details of the engineering. And I'm going to share with you some pictures of things that I got to see while I was there, some wonderful progress in making the components of our instrument that I think nicely show where they are as well as where things are going in the future. So to start off, I've got a picture of the exterior of Casavant, and it's actually a much bigger facility, and you'll see at the end a broader view of the overall facility. But this is the most historic part, the oldest part from the 1800s, and it is their main offices. This is in Saint-Hyacinthe, probably not pronouncing that quite right, but a little town in Quebec just outside Montreal. And beautiful town. It was a nice fall day here, as you can see with the colors in the background. It's exciting to see just how many different projects Casavant has and how many different things are going in how many different directions. And this signboard at the entrance to the factory I thought was very interesting because it shows what's going on now and the different halls that they have where they assemble instruments and where some of these are going to wind up. You can see us up at the very top, hall number 1, Chapel of the Cross, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. But you can see there are some other instruments here, several going, 2 of them going to East Asia, one for a new concert hall in Beijing and another to Macau. And then there are quite a few for churches all over the United States. One of the major activities that's been going on over the last few months with our project at Casavant has been making the pipes. That process is pretty much finishing up now. In fact, I think that I was there on one of the last days that they were actually making pipes before they completely finished that process. One of the steps of that is soldering together components of the pipes, and this gentleman was making the feet, I believe they're properly called, of the pipes, which are the cone-shaped part at the bottom of each pipe. And you can see some of them lined up along the back there, and he's got some of the vertical pieces around as well. And in this group of photos, we can actually see him soldering one of these pipe feet. He's got the metal of the pipe rolled up into a sort of cone or cylinder, and he's got a soldering iron here, and he's putting the solder in and actually soldering the seam. And then we get the final cone at the end that's all finished, and that's ready to attach to the rest of the pipe. So this kind of craft is how all of these pipes get made. There's so many little pieces. Every single pipe is made in multiple pieces, and then each of them, after it's soldered, gets assembled into the whole pipe, and then you do that for thousands of pipes. So here's some more pipe fabrication. This worker is putting together much larger pipes, and you can see these are pipes that, not cylindrical, but they're sort of conical, but a really long cone. These are really big pipes. These are going to be some of the brassier sounds. And you can see he's got the metal rolled up to make the shape. I'm not sure if he's soldered this quite yet, but in the process of putting this together, he's taping some pieces together at the moment for the rest of that assembly. Most of the pipes on our Casavant instrument are being made from scratch by Casavant, but we are reusing some pipes from the old Quaker organ at our parish, and this table is actually full of pipes that are being reused. These were trumpet pipes that we had in the old Quaker organ. They're going to be in the back of the room in the new organ in the antiphonal, which is going to be in the tower, so sounding from the back of the room. And so these pipes are there being, I think they've mostly been reconditioned now. There may be a little more reconditioning to be done by the Casavant team, and then they will wind up coming back to the Chapel of the Cross with the organ in the spring. As I made my tour around the Casavant factory, one of the things I saw again and again was sets of pipes for our instrument stashed all over the place. These pipes that you see here are for our instrument. They have a little bit of a red protective coating on parts of them, and they are also in part wrapped in a blue saran wrap. But this set is for our instrument. And then in other places, I would find boxes of pipes. So here we can see some wooden boxes, or whatever you want to call them, that have pipes for our instrument, all made and ready to go, and they're just being stored for the appropriate time. They have some of these in racks, and you can see some racks here that have different boxes of pipes, and they're labeled by what they're going to be, all of them going to our instrument in this particular shelf of racks. And you can see those pipes both up and down. So they have a big room of these, but then there are more rooms, and then there are pipes in other places. So lots of pipes. We have, I forget exactly how many thousand, but several thousand pipes, and they're all over the place in the Casavant factory. There are also some wooden pipes going in the organ, and I don't know that all of those had been made quite yet when I was there in October. I didn't see a lot of them yet, but there are some of them. And the last photo in this group shows some wooden pipes back sort of towards the back of the photo. They're square shaped, and they have wooden plugs, some of them stuck in the end. They're shown here alongside a bunch of other wooden components, wooden wind lines that will carry air in the instrument. So wooden pipes, metal pipes, pipes absolutely everywhere as Casavant gets the whole instrument made. Another activity that I saw going on in preparation with our instrument is the making and fitting of racks that will hold the pipes vertically when they are mounted in the instrument. You can see here a number of brassy pipes, as these tall pipes like this with this sort of cone shape are brassy pipes for making a trumpet-like sound. I don't know, I think these actually literally are trumpet pipes, but there are several different types of pipes on the organ that make that kind of sound. But anyway, this worker is putting together racks for these pipes, and so you can see here two different views of these trumpet pipes and the structure that supports them. So there's racks down at the bottom that have holes where the pipes sit, but then there are also more vertical components to hold these really tall pipes and support them so that they don't bend, flex, or get damaged in any way. But there are so many different racks being made because there are so many different pipes. There are little tiny pipes, there are much bigger pipes. Every one of them has its own shape. They're sized differently depending on what note each pipe sounds. So as I walked around the factory, I saw a number of places where they had prepared racks, and these racks were now stacked up and waiting. So in some of these photos, you can see racks just kind of sitting there. One of the amazing things is how carefully they have to prepare these with the details of exactly how big every hole is, and to make it match each pipe and have it in the right place. So you can see on some of these, they've been painted with markings for which pipes go where and which sets of pipes correspond to which holes. So quite a bit of careful work. Every single one of these is custom made for a particular set of pipes in a particular part of the organ. Another activity that was taking place when I visited Casavant in October was voicing. Voicing is an incredibly important part of making an organ, and it's actually a long process that happens over many stages. It starts at the factory with brand new pipes, where very, very skilled workers who know so much about how pipes work physically and how to make a beautiful and appropriate sound from a pipe will take those pipes, those brand new pipes, and modify them physically to make the sound better. So this particular worker was doing initial voicing. He has this little mini organ here where he can put pipes into racks and play them. And he's got quite a few pipes from a particular set of pipes here. And he is working through new pipes and making them match the other pipes of that set. So I've got a comparison here of a pipe that has been voiced and a pipe that is completely new and hasn't been. And you can see One of them, the one on the left, has a nice opening, and the one on the right has that slot that's above his thumb is not properly open. So one of the things he's got to do is just use a manual tool to pry it open. That's just because the casting and shaping process isn't perfect. But then he'll put the pipe on the machine and play the note and see what sound he gets. And then as he hears the sound and compares it to other pipes, he'll take it out and make adjustments. One of these pictures shows him using a tool that he sticks up inside the pipe from the bottom to manipulate the internal structure of the pipe. And another picture shows him actually cutting the pipe, because this particular pipe was slightly too long, as it turned out, and it needed to be trimmed a little bit to get the appropriate sound at the appropriate pitch. The pipes in the organ ultimately have to receive air from valves that are controlled by the player. That is carried out through what are called wind chests, which are big wooden boxes full of elaborate equipment that so the valves and more components that get the air to the pipe and control when that air gets to the pipe. So I saw some of these completed. These are some of the smaller wind chests. They're turned on their side in this first photo here. So you can see there are a bunch of holes where pipes will sit, where air comes out, and you can't really see a lot more at the moment. But in other parts of the factory, I saw some of these wind chests being made. So the next picture shows a much bigger wind chest, and it's in the process of being made. So they've built the frame and have put some of the valves and components in, but not everything. So we can see from different angles here, valves and springs that operate, or springs that return the valve. And then from the side view, you can actually see electrical actuators that are going to open the valve. So the player will play a note and it will operate that actuator and open the valve and allow the air to get to the pipe. So the workers here are building these, putting all these components together, wiring them, assembling the valves, building the structure too, as we can see in a photo here of a worker actually doing some work on the wood, and then putting together these boards on top that have holes for the pipes. And you can see in the last picture here these boards being glued together, some of them for one of the wind chests. And then finally we have a finished wind chest here that has got I think everything together, and it's just got some plastic wrap over it to keep it safe. Besides pipes and wind chests, there are a lot of other things that Casavant has to make for an organ. They have to make regulators of air pressure. They have to make things that will create vibrato sounds. So I saw a number of these things being made or finished, having just been made. This is actually an air reservoir that's going to, so basically a bellows that they have made. Everything about this is handmade. So they've made the frame of it, they've made the internal structure, the actual bellows has been made. I didn't see that being done, but what I did see being done was the assembly of what are called tremulants. And these are little devices that make the air vibrate. They give a vibrato effect. And so this worker is actually making a tremulant that's going to go on our organ. So she has made the wooden components and is now putting some cloth on that will allow it to vibrate and create that particular sound effect. Having made most of the pipes, most of the wind chests, many of the racks, a lot of the other structure of the organ, one of the next things that Casavant will be doing is making the console of the organ. I was up in the office at Casavant with the console designer and with Simon Couture, the vice president, who has worked with us so much on the design of the organ. And we've got here in this picture the design up for the console up on the CAD screen in the office, and you can see Simon pointing out a feature there. He's standing up on the right, and I didn't see much constructed yet on that because that's something they're just starting on, but I did see the stop knobs, which had just been engraved, and it was very exciting to see those. So these are also handmade, and they have some sort of engraving process that gets the names on them for each stop. The organ has some large structure, frames, supports, these sorts of things. And that's one of the next things Casavant is going to be building. In the woodshop part of the facility, I saw a number of frames being assembled, and I just took a couple pictures here. You can see in this particular picture some framework laid out on the floor. You can also see some vertical frames that have been assembled. And in the next picture, you can see some slats that are part of the mechanism that the player will use to control how loud the sound is. Organs have these shutters or slats that open and close under the control of the player's foot pedal. And they let sound out or they hold sound in. And these are going to be for the right-hand side of the chancel. So they've made these shutters and they're now just stacked up, waiting. It's amazing to see the intricacy of so many of the parts that go into an organ. Everything has to work together, but it often is made to work together through very traditional ways, through mechanical operation rather, say, than electronic. There are, of course, electronic components in our organ, but there are also many traditional mechanical techniques used. Right here you can see one of the air regulators. This is sort of a bellows-like device. And I thought it was pretty extraordinary. They fabricated these metal components so that it can regulate the air pressure. And so this bar will connect, it connects to a valve that is affecting airflow. So it's a little bit difficult to explain exactly how it works because you have to connect it to other things for it all to make perfect sense. But it's the kind of thing where it self-regulates air pressure based on how a bunch of different parts of the organ are using air. And it's all through this mechanical kind of linkage, building these components, these metal components that link to the wooden components and have that ability to regulate. So where will everything be going in the next months? Well, there's a little more to make. The console, some of the wooden frames, a little bit more voicing to do with pipes. But ultimately, this is all going to the particular room shown here in this picture. This is hall number 1. If you remember back to that signboard at the beginning where we saw different organs going to different halls. This is where Casavant will be assembling our organ for testing. So this room is empty right now. It's been all cleared out for us. There's a couple parts sitting around, but it's mostly empty. And they will begin assembling our instrument very soon. And then once they have it assembled, probably in January, they'll be doing testing on it, and they'll test it and do more voicing for a couple months before they pack it up to take it to us. So this room will be filling up, and we'll probably have some more pictures from this room to share with you in the future as the organ gets assembled. So the last picture I have to share with you is just a final view of the Casavant facility from the end of my visit on that October day. You can see here a little bit more of their facility. The offices, the oldest part is there in the brick building in front, but then there are bigger buildings back to the back. All of them go back a very long time, most from the 1800s or the very early 1900s. And it's a very big facility. Lots and lots of interesting things to see in those buildings as they put together by hand all the different parts of the instrument, and in the assembly hall where it will all come together soon.